Hi guys, thanks for watching tonight. This is the Nocturnal Feeding with James, the Fish Room Fever, and me, Chattanooga Ed. We've got a special guest tonight, which is Amber from Big City Bettas, and she's just getting a drink or something real quick, and she'll be right up. And I am going to have James say hi to everybody while I get my chat working.
Hi to everybody. Is your chat working? Sorry.
I deserve it. I deserve it.
Hello and welcome to, and again, this is off the participants list, so if I don't read your name, I'm sorry. We hope you're all having a wonderful night. But hello to Bottom Dweller Aquatics, Chris Trapp. I haven't even gotten two names in and I'm already messing it up. Let's try this again. Biscotti Nanya, Bottom Dweller Aquatics, Chris Trapp, Daniel Velez, Delightless Critters, Geek Boy HC Aqua, Gene Campbell, Jenny Lynn, John Larson, MNC Aquatics, Mike's Aquatics and Things, My Fish Tanks Aquatics, Paul Sotero, RB Animal Rescues. Oh, just scroll for me. Rebecca Jackson S, Sandy Dowdy, Sandy Rimbacher, Science Gal Aquatics, Skull Aquatics, The Zen Ginger, Trevor Gregory, Whips World, and Xana Doo, and all the others. And there is our special guest, and Ed should have his chat up as well. So there we go.
Hello. I just need to pull up the chat on the stream now.
Yep, I lost my chat. I just popped it. It's all right.
And of course, we've got Aquatic Aesthetics and Aquatic Marine here as well. They were both hanging out in the Fish Room Fever chat right before this, which are Ed and my local fish stores. So awesome to see you gentlemen here. Thank you very much for your support.
They are, and they're both amazing too. You know what? Somehow I reopened up the Facebook page and it says my chat has popped out. I just can't find where the chat went. Uh-oh, Nico's about to join us. Well, there it is. Oh, I found it. Awesome.
And I just noticed your shirt. I actually earlier had a Captain America shirt in my hand. I was like, I should wear this. Ed would appreciate it.
I have had this shirt in this fish room for almost 3 months waiting for you. And I didn't want to wear it ever, because I knew I would end up taking it out of the room. And then I forgot to put it on. And that's why I was going to say, yeah, James, let's just go for 2 hours. But it's like, no, I got to put on my Captain America shirt. Right? But I had a SHIELD shirt on, which was ironic because I looked down and was like, oh, well, that's kind of weird. But
for those who don't know, I love Captain America, and every fish expo I've ever gone to, this is how you can find me, because it's my backpack. That backpack saved my life at the Aquashella with the sumo wrestling.
Oh goodness!
No, it did. It did, because for those who were there and remember when Big Rich got body slammed by whomever was in the other big ball, and somebody got trapped between Big Rich and his sumo wrestling suit ball and the chicken vendor, the fried chicken vendor that was right there. That was me. My shield got caught on the table. That's the only reason I didn't go all the way over.
You know what? We can add more to the story.
Okay. Were you there? I think you guys weren't there. I met you at the big fish deal.
We weren't there, but our buddy was there, Sean Peck.
Yeah.
And he bruised his ribs when he was being slammed by Big Rich. So he had a cracked rib.
Yeah.
Cracked or bruised.
I was walking with a limp because my hips were not happy. But yeah, let me see if I can find this spot. Yeah, it's that right there. That is where my shield saved my life.
That's awesome.
That is great.
We're going to have to share that with Sean. Oh my God.
It's painful. Big Rich is a large man.
Yeah. Sean was like, I don't know what I was doing.
Yeah. That's one of those in the moment things you do and you're like, I should never have done that.
Yes. In general, I think that event was a little dangerously set up. I heard later a small child got thrown into a pole, and I was like, oh my God, I got off easy.
Well, I used to love doing the sumo wrestling stuff back when I had a good back, but now I can't do it, I don't think. But you know what? I want to thank the super chatters real quick, and then we'll get into it. XDo, thank you for the pile of poo. Oh, XDo and the poo. Wow. He's going to be playing Dungeons and Dragons with us soon.
Nice.
And someday, Amber might be a special guest on the show. I don't know if you know that, but you might be. If there is a show. I don't know if we're going to do it privately, personally, how we're going to do it. But just Shrimp Granny.
You can expect nothing but the most professionalism. Like, the tech savviness is just going to be on point.
Awesome. Well, and Mike, thank you for the hippo with the hat going backwards. And it's a red hat. Well, it's kind of pink, but I'm going to just say it's bleached out Chief's hat for me, and I appreciate that. And Aquatic Marine, the one guy that could probably take Big Rich in a sumo wrestling event, is James's fish store owner. He is a big guy, Kenny, and he's got a busted wing. I meant to ask him if his arm's been getting better, but don't know. Oh, and Fish Tank Barn, thank you for the $4 super chat and a cup of coffee. I'm going to say it's hot tea because I'm more of a tea guy. But, did Amber freeze?
Possibly. I have it covered with the chat right now. Yes.
Either she had something really bitter she just ate.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, until she's back, let's just talk about what's on the agenda for next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I see we've got a lot of people talking about Aqua Shell. It's going to be fun. I'm definitely bringing a ton of stickers because I've seen people mention stickers. I'll poke Ed and make sure he's got Tennessee Fish Mafia stickers and Chattanooga Ed stickers.
Yes.
And do we want to tell them what day we're going to be down there?
If we actually know for sure, we're kind of dictated also because now we're taking Sean with us, Sean Peck. So he's got to make sure we fit in his vacation days. But we were talking about going down on Wednesday, but I think we're going to go down on Thursday, and we're going to just kind of chill out at a different hotel that doesn't cost $1 bajillion.
We're going to hide.
First night. Yeah. And then the next 3 nights, we're going to move over to the expensive place, and that's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we aren't guaranteed if we'll come back that Monday or Tuesday, but I can guarantee we won't be at the expensive place just because it's kind of expensive.
Absolutely. But we will be hanging out before the event. So we're always happy to meet people and shake babies and kiss hands or however that works, you know?
I don't touch babies.
No, Ed doesn't.
Shake them
He thinks they're creepy.
They are. Well, they put off weird smells. They have soft skulls. They don't communicate well.
Yeah, this is true.
But I would like to do an alligator garden if we have a chance. But if we don't, we won't. And it's not the end of the world because I've been to lots of alligator gardens. And, you know, I don't know, maybe it's not necessarily a garden, but an alligator show type place where you walk through a swamp. I love walking through swamps. And when you walk through a swamp that's like designed for people to walk through, generally it's a lot safer than a real swamp. So if I ever get to hang out with Chubbs, I'll walk through the swamp with Chubbs.
Welcome back.
I should not have mentioned technical savviness.
Hey, you got back.
Yeah, that's the important part.
No, when the router stops and stays on.
Amber, are you a member of the IBC?
I am, actually, though I don't show. This year, actually, I have a few friends who I have a couple of males behind me that I'm going to try to bring to shows. I actually don't know if I'm not gonna move. It already cut out. I was gonna get up and get one, but I'm like, you know what? Let's just.
Yeah, it's all right. We know they're awesome.
Pretty.
So is the IBC a lot like the IFGA, where you can send your fish and they'll show them, or do you have to show up in person?
Nope, you can send them. Though it is good to have someone there to keep an eye on your fish, as well as like they're just that are known for being biased to certain things. Like I absolutely shouldn't say, but like there's one OG who, if there's a Dumbo in a show, is gonna win if he's touched. That's how it is. So it's really good to have someone there to make sure that your fish is actually being noticed. But you can send them in. For a while they weren't doing that, and I don't know post-COVID rules on that, but I know they were before.
Now, I've only been to IFGA event. Well, I guess I've been to like major events that had all sorts of different fish. But with the betta, is it just lots of little tanks where you get to see them all, and they're probably in categories, and then the judge goes privately and marks down different numbers for like maybe fin length, colors?
Yes, they're all showed within different categories and types. Like you have crown tail. They go based on fin types, and then within that they have different categories on color, and they will do separate color categories as well. And then you have a best of show. So I think it's pretty similar, though I'm not familiar with the IFG.
Gotcha.
But from what you said, it does sound like it's a similar grading system.
I'm going to pull an Ed here. What's IBC, International Baked Chicken?
International Betta Congress.
You just made me hungry. Oh, it's Congress. I figured it was club.
No, it's Congress. And fancy. Extra fancy.
There you go. MSC Aquatics would like to know thoughts on a betta sorority.
Oh, I nailed my tea. Well, I think it depends on the tank as well as the fish. So, for example, the tank behind me right there is a 29-gallon, which contains a mix of different runty bettas, some males, and as they start to show their attitude, I'm pulling them, and at some point I'm going to pull all of them. The females I'm going to leave in the tank, and they're going to stay pretty much indefinitely with little to no issue, with the exception of if one changes gender, because female bettas can switch gender to male, and they often will be triggered by being surrounded by other females. And sometimes you just get a nasty girl. But the larger the tank, the more planted, so 20-gallon at least, lots of plants. Younger females, if not sisters, are highly advised. And if you're going to do a community, you need to get all the fish that are going in that tank right away, because adding females to a betta sorority is what causes problems 9 times out of 10. So a properly balanced sorority is going to have a multitude of females, usually 5 to 7 is the recommended number, and that's because within themselves, kind of like chickens, they have a pecking order, and they will form who's in charge, the ones that are kind of like down the totem pole, and they figure that out by sizing each other up, potentially sparring a little bit. They establish that. Cichlids do it as well. Adding a new fish to the mix, if that fish is super skittish, it might get bullied to death, or it most likely will. Or if it's aggressive, it will overthrow some of the fish higher up on that pole, and then the whole dynamic changes. And you have fighting, you'll have a lot of issues. So sororities can be done, but it's best with females. At some point soon, I'm hoping to have enough females that I can do sister sorority packs, so people can just buy a sorority of females that are raised together, and they'll have the most likely success.
Very cool.
That was going to be my next question, was if you were going to be offering those, because I know that's been popular lately.
Yes, my dream at the moment is to set up the large tubs in the yard to grow out bettas and just breed all the bettas. So I can have enough females that instead of selling them singularly, because a lot of people do want females to breed or just one female, I can also offer groups. So that's something fun to look forward to.
How early does it, or how soon can you sex them to see if it's a female or a male? Is it after 3 weeks or a month or?
I personally can start telling around 3 to 4 weeks, but I've also been doing it a really long time. It gets very easy, 6 to 8 weeks. So by 2 months old, it should be sexable. I should be able to look at it and really quickly tell male or female based on the build. So I guess that's something I could also touch on if you want, the way to tell a male versus female. Females have a rounder, more robust body to them, almost like a bosom to their chest. They're very barely. Their fins will oftentimes be shorter than males, but I have seen them as long as males. And with certain color types of females, because fry come in two pigmentations when they're first born and are hatched and they don't have their colors. You have dark and you have light. Light fry, you can often see through their scaling, so you can literally just see the ovaries with eggs growing. A good example is cellophane bettas, the kind of transparent colored ones. A lot of times in the females, you can just blatantly see the eggs.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's super cool. When you mentioned that a female can turn male, I didn't realize that. I was on Kaler's Aquatics, and we were interviewing Alex a few weeks ago on Secret History, and we were talking about different fish that could do that. But I thought almost all the fish were males that turned to female.
Nope.
So that's pretty unique.
Yeah, I actually wrote an article on it, I think, 3 years back on gender switching in bettas, and it's actually very specific. So it is only female to male. It's never male to female. And oftentimes you'll end up with a higher quality male than the actual males in your spawn.
Wow.
And they can only switch if they're 18 months or younger, so a year and a half or younger, or if they haven't dropped eggs. So if a female has dropped eggs on her own or she's been bred, her gender is set. She will not turn to male. Another cool thing is that all of the fry from the subsequent spawns are going to be female. So,
wow.
That's very interesting.
Is there a way for us to read your articles?
One thing real quick, that female can then switch to that within that spawn. Those females can switch to male.
Oh, so it's in their DNA.
Yeah, so they're genetically not kind of screwing themselves by having a spawn full of females. Like, eventually one of those females can turn male and they can breed. So it's kind of a cool survival mechanism.
Yeah, they're like power fish.
It's a good way to look at it.
Well, is there a way for us to like read your articles somewhere? Do you have a website, or
I do have a website. I keep publishing it and taking it down because I keep making changes and chickening out. I will be doing a live stream on my channel within the next few days announcing my website and pushing fish sales. I'm going to have all of the articles that I've contributed to the IBC, as well as ones that I've just never gotten published, put on my website so people who want it can use it.
Awesome.
But you can find a lot of them on the IBC website. I've done a good deal of work with them.
Now, you've gone to clubs, like fish clubs around the country, and done speeches or talks and stuff.
Yeah. Predominantly, most of my talks were more wild betta-based. That's typically what I talk about is my work with wilds. Sound's gone.
Oh, I can hear you.
No, we just weren't talking. There's a lag in my screen.
Yeah, we have a little bit of lag in yours, and we just don't want to talk over you.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic! The problems never end.
You're fine.
Oh, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we're doing great. Well, how do clubs like contact you? Like, how is that involved? Because a lot of us, we all love fish, and we love clubs, and a lot of us don't even have clubs. I think a lot of people on YouTube are people that don't have a place to nerd out with at a club, so we nerd out together. But it's still interesting how they find these different people to come and do talks.
For me, my first talk was because came from Zenzo of Tazawa Tanks contacting me. He's a member of the San Francisco Bay Aquarium Society and a member of the board, and they needed speakers, and he knew about my work with bettas, so I greatly appreciate that opportunity with him. And then from there, I think I spoke. After that was Cleveland. I'm pretty sure after that I did Cleveland, and that's because I got an email from a woman who had seen my talk in San Francisco and thought I would do really, really well because she had gone to multiple clubs. And she thought I would do really, really well contacting a few smaller clubs. And like Haley's Fish Club hosted me, which is wonderful. I don't know. Somebody gives you an opportunity to do it and you take it. And then from there, you can kind of be like, so I've done talks before if you need a speaker. Because for me, it's a matter of kind of spreading the word on wilds and getting more people interested in them. Because captive breeding is the way to bolster any endangered species or threatened species. Because the more fish that are being taken from the wild and brought into the hobby that we are then breeding and selling, fewer long-term are going to be coming out of the wild because there won't be as much of a need because they're captive bred. So it's important, and that's why I like doing club talks.
Have you already done the Indianapolis Club Talk? Bailey?
Is that the Circle City? Because I did Circle City. Yep.
Nuts. James and I are in that club.
Oh, are you?
Yep. Yeah, we joined last year during the pandemic.
Just barely too late. I must say, I love the Reef. For those who are in Indianapolis, they am I allowed to like promote a fish store's YouTube channel on here?
Oh, heck yeah.
Okay, so the Reef has a YouTube channel. I highly recommend everyone look it up because these guys do live streams pretty much every week. They guess like the wealth of knowledge that Dave and his team puts forth in these streams. Wow. No offense, Dave, if you see this, but compared to the people who get to view the content, it's not where it should be. Like, right. They legitimately have very good info, and they also do, maybe they don't do it anymore, but they used to do live unboxings when they get their orders in. So if you're local, you could watch them pulling orders out, and if you wanted something, they would put the bag aside for like an hour, and you could just come and get it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's super cool. Well, James, and I think we get like a 15 or 20% off for being in the club there, but James and I still haven't been to it yet.
Oh,
we've only been up there for like 2 or 3 events so far.
I always just go fish shopping at LRB's house when we go up there.
Yeah, that's the most we do. We spend too much money at LRB's.
I have such a hard time in that fish room because I'm like, I want it all.
it's tricky. I'm going to grab a couple things from chat if that's okay.
Sure.
Just before it gets too far away from me. You did have another super chat come in. That was from Zidu, as she said, or Xanadu. For a $5 super chat, says, wish I were going to Orlando, but not in the cards this year. Have a great time all. P.S. The Gaylord is amazing.
Well, that's good. The Gaylord is the hotel that we'll be at.
Gotcha.
And then Paul Darrow said, does Ed know the ACA in St. Louis at the end of July?
I do. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it or not. I've had lots of expenses in the last, I just was in St. Louis this weekend. And then I had a big bill with the vet. So hopefully I can go, but I'm going to have to look at my finances because Aquashella is going to cost a lot too. And yeah. And I mean, I have a place to stay in St. Louis with my brother, but it's still a little touchy or whatever. So, but I'm not for sure if I'll be at the ACA or not. That going back to things though that James and I are talking about doing is in June. We plan on going to an IBC event in Atlanta.
Nice. That's going to be a big one.
Yeah, it's 3 days, but we're just going to drive down because Atlanta's about an hour and a half from me and about probably 2.5 for James. And so James will just drive to my house, and then Bob Kaler will probably go with us too. So then James will drive to my house, I'll drive to Bob's, and then Bob will drive all the way.
And I'm gonna need to PayPal you, and you're gonna need to be my private shopper.
Oh, that'd be fine. That'd be fun.
I really need to go to that one, but this year I'm not sure how things are gonna work out. But if I can swing it, I want to have a booth for Chicago That's kind of
Oh,
like,
wow.
I don't
When
know,
is the Chicago event?
Aquashella?
Oh, Aquashella. Okay, cool.
Oh,
I know when that is. That's wait. I have a big calendar of events here.
August.
Aquashella is that's Reefapalooza. Aquashella is October. No, that's Reefapalooza. May no. Gosh, Chicago has a lot of events going on.
My God,
Well, while
you're
Ed's looking for that,
Aquashella is August 14th and the 15th.
yes.
we had a couple people that were seeking clarification, I guess, for this bed of sororities that we were talking about a little bit ago. In terms of tank size, were you saying a 20-gallon well planted for the minimum tank size?
Yes, but ideally a long or high to give them more actual swimming room. That would probably be the minimum, I'd say. You can get away with it in a normal 20 that's heavily planted, but it's not advised.
I bet they would enjoy more a 55 because the footprint is there's a lot of space for them to hide and stuff, but they won't be too far back that you won't see them.
Yes, the bigger the tank, the better. And I actually saw a good question. Have you thought about breeding a few pairs at the same time so you can have mixed groups of females for female packs? I have, and that's something that I want to try doing with the tubs I mentioned in the yard, them being 90 gallons. It should be a good size to grow things out. And for those who don't know, this is Peanut. He is
He's awesome.
But he's naughty. He drinks out of the toilet. He digs in the garbage. He sniffs his brother's behind. Like, he's just a nasty boy.
And does he also like to give you licks on the nose?
He likes to give kisses. He'll rub his face against your mouth.
Oh,
After it's been in all those horrible spots.
That's why he's a nasty boy, because he comes up to you going, please, just give me love, and, like, rubs on you, and you get the faint odor of just nasty, and you're like, oh, what have you been into? What have you been into?
Oh, gosh.
He also talks back when he knows he's in trouble. He'll give me a little bit of attitude as he runs away. Yes, hi, you. Yes, talking about you. Hi. So.
Paul Sotero mentions the 33 long if you can find one. Yeah, those are awesome tanks anyways. But
those are, I had 2 when I was in New York. And they're awkward for racks, but they're a really good tank.
Yeah. Was it Kenny or was it Rob? It was one of our local fish store guys saying that they don't make them. Oh, it was Rob. He was saying that he's just started seeing them on sales lists again, but there's only a few.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, it was.
I think I found mine at a Pet's Warehouse in Long Island. I'm sure that's where I got mine.
I think it's the plastic rims that they're having the problem getting into America because they assemble them here, but the plastic bottoms and tops probably come from overseas, and that's why there's so few coming in right now. But it'll be back to normal. Things are getting better every day.
They're getting there slowly. Peanut, what are you?
Sorry.
Well,
oh, okay.
Now, have you been in the competitions at the IBC?
I haven't, though this year I do want to send a few fish to a friend who judges and show some of hers, and saw some of mine and was like, those are really good. You should show them.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Me too.
Now, how many different types of betta do you have? Because Big City, I was just showing him to you earlier. He's up here. What can you tell me? What type of? I almost said guppy. What type of betta he is?
He is a half moon placat nut. He's a half moon placat, and he's actually a mix between a blue and white marble and a 7-color Nemo, which is a koi that has 7 different colors in it. So, oh, look at him. He looks so good.
You can start to see I can really see like the blue shimmer. His his fins have. You could kind of see it on camera there.
Yeah, look at him. He looks great.
He kind of went in the back. But yeah, I turned his, he's got a sponge filter. I turned the air off so that way you could just kind of chill on it because I keep plants in there and stuff and just change the water. So the filter's more in there just for a bed for him. But okay, so you have a half moon placotte. That's what he's called?
Mm-hmm. Which means a mix between a long fin and a short fin fish, which yields just like a medium. And they're probably the most popular fin type right now in the US. And actually, what are you doing? Ow.
What other types of bettas will you be selling?
I have half moons, crown tails, and half moon placottes right now. I would like to get into other types. I have a bunch of different colors, predominantly koi, because I did have a lot of koi spawns at the time that are now grown out. But what I'm growing up right now is kind of a fun mix of everything. I have 12 going, and as soon as they hit a month old, I'm planning on setting up another area with 20 highs to use as grow out so I can just continuously pull and keep breeding because I don't know, why not? All the bettas. Just have all the bettas.
Now,
one moment I'm just going to Peanut.
Sure.
Murder this cat is what I'm going to do. So naughty. Oh.
Well,
I've never seen him climb on what he was just climbing on. I swear he's acting up because he's like, oh, you're busy and distracted? We'll see about that.
Oh, yeah. The cats have to troll. That's just in their nature.
Yeah. Mine are being really nice tonight, and I think it's because I've been out of town for the last week. So they're like both chilling next to me. But, okay, so let's say I take this boy and take a half crown, or not, gosh. Oh, gosh, now I'm on half crown moons. Yeah, give me a name of a big flurry one. Like the big tails.
Half moon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And mix them together. Is it kind of like, and you said it's just a mixed bag of fun stuff. So it reminded me of like if you're collecting like rocks and you're breaking up to see what one has a diamond in it or if it has a ruby. You know, it kind of sounds fun like that. But will you have just all different things thrown?
Yes. Yes. And just to clarify, because it can be confusing, the term half moon refers to a tail that has an 180-degree spread. So like a reverse D kind of deal. And a placotte is something that is shorter finned, and it usually only has about, I don't even want to say what the angle is because somebody's going to correct me and police me, but they have like a much smaller angle to their tail. So it'll be rounded instead of being almost a D shape. The sides will be more rounded and it's just overall going to be shorter. So when you're looking at tail types in general, half moon means long, placotte means short. So if you have a crown tail, which means it has reduced webbing in between the rays, and you mix it with a placotte, you have a crown tail placotte, which is a short, thin crown tail. So placotte means short, fin, half moon means long, basically. So when you mix the two, you have half moon placotte.
Well, okay, so now we've talked about that stuff. How do you feel about some of these newer breeds coming out, like the samurais? Well, maybe samurais have been around for a while. I don't know. But the alien has been only here for a couple of years. How do you feel about these type of newer guys?
Well, samurai bettas are actually referring to the coloration. So you know those metallic colored bettas? They're usually black finned, red finned, sometimes white finned, but they have like chrome colored bodies. Do you know what I'm talking about? Very shiny. Yep. They're called dragon scale. Dragon scaling is a trait that we actually pulled about 120 years ago from the
Oh, wow.
Mahakai species. They're wilds that have very metallic scaling. So by taking already established domestics, people bred a wild type with heavy chrome scaling and mixed the two, and then they got dragon scales. While they're beautiful, there's like a word of caution with dragon scaling. It can cause two major issues with the fish as it grows due to the fact that beta's colors are layered and the pigmentation comes in different layers in the scaling, and it continues to grow in as they get older. So the fish with that chrome metallic pigmentation to them, as it continues to layer and layer within the scaling, it can often produce tumors. They're superficial, but they can push on organs, and it's kind of awful, but the skin can actually split open due to the tumors. And they can also develop what's called diamond eye, which is where the pigmentation in them is so strong, it actually develops and builds over their eyes, so they can no longer see, rendering them blind. Samurai bettas are a dragon scale betta with less than 50% dragon scaling. So it's kind of funny because everyone wants them these days, but they're kind of what you don't want to get in a dragon scale spawn. They're kind of the thing you look at and you're like, oh, that's not gonna win a show, because you want full saturation of the scales to be a dragon scale. So they're actually a byproduct that Asian breeders wanted to sell easier, so they came up with a pretty name for it. They are beautiful. They're beautiful, and the chance of cancer or diamond eye is much less, but it's still just a marketing term. Alien bettas are a hybrid between, I think, 3 different types of wilds within the same complex. So wild bettas as a species, or bettas as a whole, you have over 120 recorded species at this point, one of them being domestic splendens. And within that 120 plus family, you have different complexes. So ones that are more closely related based on physical attributes or even where they're found. Those are able to crossbreed with each other usually, the fish within complexes. Domestic splendens belong to the complex splendin, which also has embellis, stikos, the wild splendin, mahakai, and I'm missing at least one, but there's a handful. So all of those can be bred to domestic bettas, and to produce the alien bettas, there's a mix of 3 of those wild that they then took and mixed with domestics to create the hybrid that it is. I don't work with them. I think they're very pretty, but I also think that when you start hybridizing wild species, we run the risk of, number one, somebody having it misidentified and it ruining a gene pool. Number 2, we lose people who are potentially able to breed wild species that need to be bred due to low numbers in the wild or even extinction. And number 3, it promotes people to then crossbreed other wilds, which is so bad. That's so bad. Don't do that. We need to be preserving the species as they are, not mixing them with other things, because unfortunately, due to climate change and deforestation in Asia, most of these species within the next 100 years will be lost to extinction. So by sullying gene pools and playing with hybrids, a lot of times it messes up conservation efforts. So while I think aliens are beautiful and I don't disapprove of them, I'm personally not going to be breeding them because I just don't like hybridization when it's something that is endangered.
Definitely a very good point. Aquaballs would like to know, what do you think about grooming bettas? I see some people in Asia do it.
Ooh, trimming them?
I think he means grooming for show, because I assume, or maybe he means trimming the fins, but I can address either one. First one, sometimes betta's fins get extremely long and heavy, like you said, Ed, and they kind of drag at the bottom. Many people opt to lightly sedate the fish and take a razor and trim the tail so the fish is actually able to be mobile, which is a point I would like to hit real quick. It's part of why people need to responsibly breed bettas and know what the traits they're looking at in the fish they want to breed and how that's going to affect its offspring. Because what is the point in breeding something that 4 months into its life it can't even swim properly? So there's that. But if he means grooming them as in for shows, betta shows require the fish to kind of be boisterous, doing its thing, and they also want it to have deep rotation, which is where they flare and open their gill covers and are kind of fierce. And usually it's at an object like a pen or a little piece of something on a stick, sometimes colored paper. You might see a tiny mirror. So some people do groom their bettas for shows by using like a mirror to train them to flare and to be kind of boisterous and bold when under lights and in a small lit container. So that's to answer all the possible what he meant by that.
Thank you.
Well, the same thing goes in the guppies too. Is like probably my most expensive, fanciest guppies from a famous breeder. I feel so sorry for because their tails have gotten so big. Their heads are, they're a guppy's supposed to be like this, but they're like this almost because their tails weigh them down, or they're laying at the bottom just relaxing. But when they go up to swim, they're just straight in a. I just feel sorry for them. I'm trying to breed them with some other different fish to get an offspring that's cool, but they can't even keep up with the girls. Can't even come close. Yeah. And I totally agree with, I think that we've gone too far trying to breed the super tail that's actually making their lives miserable.
And I'm sorry for the face I just made. I saw someone talking about how they struggled to help their egg-bound betta, and it made me sad.
Oh,
because I understand. I've been there before where I thought it was egg bound because that's what I had always learned, and so I was like, no, I'm going to fast it. I'm going to do this, and realistically, it was probably like a water quality problem or something in my care. So I can relate to that. It sucks, but one of the main things in keeping bettas and learning that you're doing something wrong or you've done something wrong, and I say bettas because it's a fish with so much as misinformation out there. It's okay to make mistakes and learn from them. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I've killed fish. You both have probably killed fish. Not on purpose, but it's happened because you try your best, but sometimes the information you're given is faulty or there are parts of it left out that are absolutely crucial. So I don't think anyone should ever feel bad that they didn't know something. It's just a matter of taking the information that makes you realize that you didn't know and learning what that knowledge you were lacking was, if that makes sense. Like with the egg boundness, thinking your fish is egg bound. When I learned that wasn't a thing with them, I started looking at what other possibilities it could be for the symptoms I was seeing, because I stopped seeing it as, she has too many eggs and started going, oh, well, body's kind of bloated, and I guess her fins are a little clamped, and like her eyes don't look really that clear. It's probably, an underlying issue. So, yeah, nobody in the hobby should beat themselves up for mistakes. We all make them.
Absolutely. I'm going to grab a couple more things from the chat real quick, if you don't mind.
I'm going to thank Whips World real quick for the 99-cent poo on the show. Thank you so much. I appreciate the fertilizer.
Absolutely. Yeah. You had one before that from Just Shrimp Granny, $5 super chat, says, Ed, the cats are just waiting for you to get the paints and supplies out, man. Don't trust them.
I know. I only have like one paint next to me, and I don't have any thing for them to grab, so I'm probably safe. Maybe a Q-tip. Nico's original name was Q-tip because he used to pull all the Q-tips out of the Q-tip container next to the sink, and I'd come home from work and they'd be everywhere. But he never responded to the name Q-tip, so we changed it.
I see your brother popped in and said, "Hi, Ed."
Oh, hi, Tim. I love my brother, Tim.
Let's see. Chris Trapp said, Amber, what is your favorite betta tank mate?
Oh. Well, I give such long answers. I'm so sorry. It's not an ideal tank mate. I kind of consider them to be like essential to most healthy planted tanks. If you can keep snails with your betta, it's a really good idea. Uneaten food, just a lot of different things going on in a tank. It can help keep kind of balanced. But if you're looking for fish, guppies, endlers, I mean, as long as you can handle watching your potentially eat a few fish babies, if not Resbora. A lot of the small Resbora species, not like the Sarawak or the Phoenix, those get really large, or Volcano. But actually, Phoenix stays small. They're in the Burrars family. But yeah, smaller Resbora species, probably a good option. Tetras, really anything that's not going to be super fast, super nippy, and can handle high water temperatures.
Awesome. Well, I've got a question for you because you are like a plant queen also. I love how you grow plants like crazy. And I also know that you love different substrates. She's also the substrate queen. She has a Brazilian substrates. But what is your favorite way to do plants? Grow plants? Like how do you do it?
So once I kind of figured out setting up tanks this way, I've kind of always set it up like this because it just works well for me. I like to start with a 2-layer approach. So like you have your base layer, and if you think about it, it's what like the plant's going to be rooting into and drawing nutrients from. And then I like to cap it because it's messy, and I really like doing different types of carob seed and making it look like a little nature box because I don't know. What's the point in having a fish tank if you can't enjoy looking at it? So my base layer, I will use, it's called Special Kitty brand. It's $2.50 for a big bag at Walmart. But any unscented, non-clumping, clay-based kitty litter, I use like 70-80% that. And then I'll add crushed lava rock or Eco Complete or even pumice stone. I just like it gives the roots something to grab onto. And the clay kitty litter, I should also add, is extremely absorbent. So any fertilizer you're putting into your tank, liquid fert, is going to absorb and retain to feed back to your plant, as well as nutrients from like waste and whatnot. And I actually like using a little handful of charcoal, like activated charcoal. You don't have to, but I do have a friend who has a business, Aquachar, where he sells really, really good charcoal, and it makes your tanks just really crisp and clean. So I just kind of mix that up, throw it in the bottom of the tank. I'll do my sand, and then I add plants. And I do use liquid fertilizer, but one thing to note on fertilizing planted tanks, because I made this mistake recently when I was struggling a little bit and I neglected my plants and stopped fertilizing. Once they expect that nutrients or those nutrients and that like food source in the water, you can't take it away because your plant, the tank will not have enough nutrients to sustain your plants, and they will melt or die. So that's the biggest thing with planted aquariums, is to set up something that long term you can get nutritional value to the plants. So the substrate the mix I'm recommending requires you to add fertilizer, but once you do that, you really have to stay on top of it. So if you're not willing to do liquid ferts like I do, you can do root tabs, or you can do just a high quality base, like Fluval Stratum's a really good one. Eco Complete's okay. So mine's a weird mix, but I like it. It's also very inexpensive because kitty litter is cheap.
Yes.
Well, that is something I should probably add to mine, because I do organic soil, and I've got a block of red clay, and I'll make a few little discs and drop red clay in for the iron in it, and drop that in, and then I put a sand cap. Has been my most successful for my.
I did forget to add to my base mix, because I haven't set up a tank in so long. I need to set up a new tank. I do add like a scoop of what's called worm castings, and it's literally just worm poo.
Sure.
But it's really good food, and it actually kickstarts the nitrogen cycle, because the ammonia that it produces when you first add it to the tank is immense. Like, yeah, it's a bacterial bloom that you can see.
That's normally in my organic soil that I look for too. is the worm casts. It sounds gross, but it works great.
Gosh,
So,
it does.
oh, and I'll also put a little bit of crushed coral in because I like a higher pH. But
I have bettas and a lot of tanks and pistos, so. But with things like guppies, yeah, or azomites, or not azomite, what's it called? There's another thing you can add other than just crushed coral. See how
crushed shell also works. I've put crushed shell.
Since I talk fish, I can't remember words.
That's all right. I can never remember words.
I'm
surprised anybody watches me.
Somebody in the chat.
Well, Mikum was actually asking if you still breed pistos earlier in the chat.
I do. I'm actually in the process of figuring out how I want to change around the living room to accommodate more pistos and maybe acaras. I don't know. I've never tried those, but I've had good success with rams and pistos, so might as well. From what I've been told, they breed similarly, and I mean, they seem pretty similar. Dwarf South American cichlids that are parental breeders. Yes, Jesse, Argonite. Thank you, Jesse.
Awesome. We'll have to look into that. Jesse is so smart. He's awesome. Let's see.
Yeah.
So, Fish Tank Barn would like to know, Amber, how many species of pothos do you have?
At least 8. At least 8.
Nice.
Not counting philodendrons.
Amber gave me pothos once.
I did.
And she gave
Was it from the hotel?
Yep, she broke it right from the hotel.
Oh, yeah. Yep. That sounds like something I'd do. Sounds like something I've done many, many times, to the point of where I've often wondered, in one specific hotel, because it was a nice hotel, they had security cameras. They had people watching those security cameras at 1 a.m. when I hopped on the elevator to go to the 6th floor to get the golden pothos.
Oh,
I can't imagine what they were thinking.
Paul Sotero would like to know what pistos you're breeding.
Oh gosh, I have Panduro, Fitiana, I think is how you say it. Honduro, I already said that. I think Hongsloi, McMasteri, Agazizii, Cockatoides quadred. That's what I have, mind you. I'm in the process, like I said, right now, figuring out how I want to redo some of my tanks and what I want to do with them. And once I have them all set up, then it's a matter of just putting pairs in there. So, yeah, it's a mix. But there are a lot of other ones I want to get into. I will say Elizabethae Orange Cheek, for those who know what I'm talking about. Those are like my dream apisto. I would love to get some of those. I've tried importing them about 4 times, and they always show up dead. So,
That's
for everybody, I probably everybody knows Amber, but if you don't know, she is a lot more than just a betta person. She has a Brazilian tanks and all sorts of fish in them.
I do, and I'm in the process of streamlining a little bit of it, but also diversifying in the same sense. So I have a lot of tetra species that I've bred, and they were really, really fun to breed, but I'm reaching a point where I'm realizing they're not what kind of gives me a thrill to work with. So I find myself moving more and more away from cherrisons and things of that nature, and focusing more on my bettas and more pistos and maybe a cara. And at one point I had this beautiful pair of German blue and they were Bolivian rams mixed with electric blue. And I ended up losing that pair actually to dosing a tank with Pancure or Hydra, but things like that. I would love to get back into working with different ram species. So, yeah.
Rams are a fish I'd like to do someday. I've got a friend who breeds rams in Salt Lake City, and he was talking about maybe coming and visiting next year. It's like maybe I'll try to trade him guppies for rams.
When you guys go to the Circle City meet, look for John Stoller. He's like next level ram breeder. That man is amazing. I think he has the blackest strain of the Dark Knight rams that I've seen. Like, no offense to other breeders, John Stoller is amazing. So I would highly recommend you also look him up when you're in Circle City or at the Circle City
Cool.
meet.
Well, thank you. Good to know.
But I don't want any black ones.
Well, he has all the colors.
I know that black is like the prime, the ace, like the top ram you can have. But man, I love colors, so I want the most bright one because I'm just goofy that way.
That's not goofy at all. Everyone has what appeals to them, and I kind of a lot of times find myself thinking the like fish fads are really overrated. You have to go with what you like and what keeps you interested.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I only have one black guppy, and it's a black lace, so it doesn't bother me too much. But I don't even want black Moscows or anything. I want to be able to see color. I've always loved color.
Well, bettas are the fish for you then, because
I know. Well, Rob at Aquatic Aesthetics, my local fish store, he has a huge betta rack, and I'm always looking at them. And I've come so close. And I probably, if I didn't have guppies in all my tanks, I'd probably have bought 40 of them.
Yeah. That's the problem I run into with Kenny at Aquatic Marine. You've seen his wall too.
Yeah,
it's like, you make me just want to, like you mentioned, collect them all. You know, I need that one and that one. And it's hard not to. It's definitely easy to get into collecting the bettas.
I have a really hard time and I should someday just live stream it so everyone can see the struggle. But I have the hardest time when it comes to jarring a spawn, because I know usually I want to continue that line. So I'm like, I'm going to pick a few different pairs, and I'll start picking the ones I like and putting them aside. And then I'm done, and I look over, and I have like 50 in the stack of what I'm keeping, and I go, oh, God, Amber. And then I have to go back through, and I'm literally sitting on the floor with a flashlight going, I don't know what's running. I love them all. And then I have a moment, and I try to hold on to like 20 of those for a few weeks. And my sense is it's a process. It's a very emotionally draining process to realize that you can only keep like 4.
Yeah,
darn it. I had something I was going to ask, and then I started thinking about the depression of that, and I forgot.
Oh, there are a couple more highlighted things. Let's see. Embassy Aquatics says, I'm trying Creeping Jenny in one of my tanks to see if it will carpet. So far, so good. That is awesome. You'll have to let me know how that turns out. I've played with that a little bit, but not as much as I would like to. And then Paul Sotero, I'm not even going to try and pronounce it, says, if she decides to do NIJSSENI, the males are very aggressive to the females.
Good to know. Yeah, I actually, with my pistos, I do it a little differently than I think a lot of people do. So I set up tanks with like a piece of mapani wood, the cave, all that stuff. They have plants. I'll put the parent, and as soon as I see the female guarding whatever she's used as a nesting site, I will pull the male and just leave the female alone. And I found I actually get higher fry yields doing that. And it also makes it so I don't run the risk of the female being bullied. I don't run the risk of the male being bullied. The female tends to get to eat more while sitting on eggs and fry. And then when the female is guarding fry, I will leave her in for 20 days, which kind of gives her a chance to eat, do her thing. Yes, she's parenting, but she's also like recovering from breeding. And then I'll just kind of pull the female, put her in a new 20 high, put the male back in, and because they've been apart, they're immediately just like, oh my gosh, babies! And they go and usually make babies. And then I just rinse and repeat. And it works pretty well, and it kind of avoids the aggression you get of the female guarding the nest and the male kind of wanting her to come out and spawn again, or just being aggressive.
That makes sense.
I remember what I was gonna ask. What were you about to say? You said uh-oh.
Yes, the chat. What is happening? And I'm noticing, am I lagging? Is that what's going on?
Everything looks fine from what I'm seeing.
Thank you, Priscilla. Priscilla, one of my good buddies, gave me some hearts. Well, 3 hearts. So each one of us gets a heart. I'll take the biggest.
Oh, thank you, Priscilla.
And $1.49. Thank you so much, Priscilla. She's awesome. And she has some beautiful bettas for sale too. She sells some really pretty ones. And some awesome shrimp. I've got a tank. One of my shrimp tanks that I got from her has blown up. And I've got like a Brazilian green
I just want to interrupt
jades.
And say Priscilla's shrimp are, oh my gosh. Like, oh my gosh. Priscilla has amazing shrimp.
I have a cat hair. Well, okay, so this is my question. It was something we used to hang out more on live streams and we talk more. We haven't talked for a while, but I think the last big time we talked was almost over a year ago. James and I kind of had a different show back then. We used to kind of just go late at night and talk to lots of people. But I remember we had a discussion, and it was when they just released the Glow Beta. And you weren't happy about it, and you were going to see if you could breed them just to see what would happen. To see if it was a DNA thing or if it was painted. Have you worked with them at all?
I haven't, but some people have successfully bred them. The offspring didn't really glow. They were just kind of like muted colored cellophanes, so to speak. But, I mean, it turned out you could breed them. So, I don't know. If somebody in the chat has bred them, please let me know.
Yeah, I was just wondering if, or if they were going to try to make them sterile because they're so into keeping their money or what the deal was. So, but that's interesting. So if you really love those fish, don't think you're going to breed them right. So pick a different fish to fall in love with.
Well, and legally speaking, I think all breeding of them is purely hypothetical. Nobody's really doing
That's
that,
true.
right?
That's true.
No.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, I'm not breeding them. Yeah. And
though I think the specificity was behind. No, I think it was breeding. It wasn't behind the sale. It was behind breeding.
Yeah, we wanted to. What I think we were discussing year and a half ago was what is in their DNA making them glow. Is it really going to be passed on, or if they're actually doing something chemically to
Jesse,
the fish?
Jesse in the chat just said he had a friend breed them and his glowed. So,
I
guess
maybe it is the jellyfish DNA passing through. And that's what we think it is. I don't know if they've ever announced that it's jellyfish DNA or not, but
I think Chris Biggs, the Mataquarist, did a live stream talking about the science behind glow betas and genetics. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was Chris Biggs.
Yeah, so that was just something I wanted to bring up just to see if you had dealt with it, and it's probably not worth the headache. Let somebody else deal with it.
Yeah.
Chris Trapp with... Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to say these days I have enough on my plate. Better-wise.
I can only imagine. Chris Trapp would like to know if you use tap water or RO.
Ooh.
Oh, I'm actually a huge proponent of using tap water for a couple of reasons. When you're selling your fish, I believe you should be raising your fish in a way that allows it to have the highest continued health on its new home. And if you're raising a fish on RO and you're making that water perfect and you send it to somebody who's using tap water, its health is going to decline. Its slime coat's not going to be adapted to swings in the water, to different, levels of things. So I at one point when I was breeding shrimp, I had Carragina breeding in tap water because I was like, nope, makes you hardier. Might not have as many babies, but they're going to be tough when I sell them.
Absolutely.
So I'm a big believer in tap water.
Cool. So I do generally everything with tap water. I'm going to be setting up an RO system. Sean Peck's going to give me his just for saltwater, just for reefs. So, and I'm just going to have one reef tank. But other than that, I prefer just taking what's straight out of the tap myself.
Oh, well, Zen Ginger, on top of things, she linked the Glowfish video from, it was Chris Biggs, and it's really well done, as most of his information is.
Absolutely.
You know, Zen Ginger made an excellent video on Glowfish also, though, and she should put a link for that because it's amazing work she did, and she does not get enough credit. So
I think I remember where they were just like community breeding in her tank. Were they Glow Danios or Tetras?
I think they were Tetras. But she just gives lots of great facts, and it's very informative, and she's awesome. Thank you, Zen.
A lot of things so long, I can't remember.
Yeah, that's a problem. I need to rebrush up. I haven't seen any. Has Zen made anything for a while? I need to check her channel. I apologize, Zen. Sometimes I get randomly unsubbed to people that I love to always see if something new comes out. I was even unsubbed to James one week. And it's like
I was so mad.
Yeah, I have to go to James's channel to be able just to read the chat. And I was like, how in the heck did YouTube unsub me?
Enter a member.
Oh my god.
I actually had to type fish room fever. That made me bitter. But yep. Okay, so what's on the pipeline? What are you going to be putting up on your website?
Information section and sales. So it's going to be all of the jars I'm currently sitting on, which right now I think I have 180 fish ready to go. A lot of koi, a lot of white marble placots, a lot of mixed marbles. I have a good number of cellophanes. This is something cool that I kind of want to do. So I have a number of cellophanes that are Nemo koi genetics. They just haven't marbled in, which to those who don't know, bettas, most of them carry what's called the marble gene, which means as they grow, their colors will slowly pigmentate in and, develop in different areas of their body, much like the fish I sent Ed that he showed at the beginning of the stream did not have any color on its body when I sent it to him. It was white. And I knew that it was going to get some patterns in, but it's cool. He's getting like little freckles. So
he had one red spot right there, like a little hat.
Yeah. No, he was one of the cuter fry in the tank. That's why I sent him to you. But I'm going to have a lot of those. I think I might actually do those for a slightly lowered price than all my other bettas and just offer them as mystery kois because you don't know what pattern you're going to get, but it's going to be black, red, and yellow. So things like that. Sister sorority packs. I have a group. Should be ready in about a month. I'm going to start offering those. So that's going to be a really fun option. And yeah, just see what I can make happen and, try to figure things out and relaunch my business. I did for about a year, a few years back, aquatic sales are how I was supporting myself. So it would be really cool to get back to a point where I could potentially do that because my living situation is changing and, finances are changing. So you got to change with it. But yeah, just a lot of really healthy, high quality U.S. bred fish at really reasonable prices. I so wish I could have figured out how to move my camera to show fish, but maybe if the boys are willing to have me back on another night, I can play with that and we can do a tour of my urban betta farm that is 1 bedroom.
That's awesome. And when you do decide to launch, let us know, and I'll buy one of your guys, and then we'll like put it as not a raffle, a prize, or when we do prizes, and I'll buy one of yours to pass away to pass to somebody, so that way we can promote your show then.
Or make it pass away, Ed.
Yeah, I'm not speaking very good here, but
I was gonna actually offer
giveaway. That's what they're called.
I was gonna offer to do that. You don't have to pay for it. I was totally just gonna offer to do that because, as I said, I do have males growing out in that little tank behind me. So if we do another stream, I can set it up so we can actually see that tank in my spawn rack, and I can literally just pull one of the little males from there and do a giveaway at Continental US only. Do it.
Now, have you ever had somebody from another country try to buy your fish?
I've had them ask and had to be like, no, sir. No, sir.
Yeah.
I cannot in Canada.
Okay, how about plants? Are you ever going to be selling plants?
I don't know, because I always find myself when I have more plants than I have space for going, I should just set up a tank. This would look cool. And then I kind of just make a tank of them. Also, I do use salt in my spawn tanks behind me, so I'm perpetually in need of guppy grass, alodia, and all floaters, because over time the salt slowly kills them due to the amount I use. So I have
One
use for plants.
Ed ran away. No, we would definitely love to have you on again. And again, don't feel bad about the technical difficulties. It happens a lot to everybody, so not a problem. Oh, Ed's got a salad.
Guppy grass. I just pulled this out of one tank. I was debating if I want to put this in my ponds or dump it in the garden tomorrow. But if you need guppy grass, I could send you some guppy grass. I've got tons of guppy grass.
Well, I might take you up on that.
Now, it does have some kabumba in there, too. No, that's guppy grass. Here's the kabumba.
He doesn't know, while he was out of town, I actually went and dechlorinated his pool and filled it full of aquatic plants. He just hasn't seen it yet.
I would be very bitter since I just set it up last week.
I would be so happy. Please do that. I don't have a pool, but if you want to put one in and fill it with plants, you're more than welcome to.
Well, we are coming up on
I'm willing
midnight.
to start having a pumpkin patch for an aquatic pool.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it looks like I got a salad. It's just because I wanted to keep it moist for tomorrow. Because I was going to debate what I was going to do with it. But
Just
I could fill 10 of those bowls.
I can see Jess in the chat shouting for a giveaway. If you guys want to, I mean, we can pause it for a second and I can grab a fish. I don't mind.
Oh, no, let's wait till you get your, we'll do a whole kickoff for you.
That'll be fun.
So.
The chat continues to be spammed by an excited Jess Shrimp Granny.
She even threw the $5 super chat out there. Let's do a giveaway tonight. Question mark, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point.
Brain check, Jess. And you guys as well. We should do that, though. I don't know. Do you really do another stream another night? I feel like you do. I'm so out of everything.
Well, we used to do a Saturday that was consistent, but we've changed up our format. And now we do one Saturday a month. We talk about saltwater. And we've got Mike from Fish Tank Barn, who's our master saltwater guy. James is
intermediate.
Yeah, intermediate. And I'm the beginner. So I'm going to have my first one. And we're working as a team. And then we do 2 weeks a month where we go to our favorite fish stores. James will come down here to Chattanooga once a month, and we go to my store, Aquatic Aesthetics. And then I go up to Knoxville. Ew, that was gross. Look at that cat fur on the end of that. And then we go to his place where we were just in Knoxville this last weekend, and went to
Aquatic
Marine, who's super cool. Thank you, RB. Go to bed. Sleep well, my friend.
What time is it? Oh, it is getting late. Doesn't feel late though. Doesn't feel late. I've missed fish friends and talking about fish.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, now, so how are you going to pick your bulls, the boys that you want to breed?
That's a good question. So when I'm looking at a spawn in general, I look for the fish that have the qualities I like most that I saw in the parents, because that's why I picked the parents. And I like to pick similarly colored parents, so I have a few more of that specific color or pattern fish to look for. But the first thing I look for is health. So I want a male with a really strong body. The second thing I look for is good, strong finnage. And then the third, again, is more clear traits of what I want, with the exception of koi. If you are breeding koi and, the spawn in general had a lot of blacks marbling in, or colors just really filling them in, solid colored fish, and you want koi, you want to pick the fish with the least amount of coloration. So a white or a cellophane, because they carry the color genetics in them, and their offspring are going to have a greater chance of less coloring and more desaturation, if that makes sense. So
yep.
That's what you look for, is the traits that you want to achieve, and you pick the best fish from that. And it's always good to have a backup pair, because you might have an unwilling female, a male who's too dumb to make a bubble nest. The failure rate in spawning bettas is, I believe, 90%. So,
well, next time we have you on, maybe we'll actually, because I know 2 different techniques to breeding bettas. Maybe we could talk the next time you come back. We'll just talk the techniques on actually how to breed them, if you want to, because I know there could be trade secrets. And if you don't want to give yours, I'll just give my 2 techniques.
No. Oh, I have a fully open, that's the main reason I started my YouTube channel way back when, is because the amount of misinformation or people unwilling to share 90% failure rate, even if you do everything right. Why not share with people, try to set them up for success?
Sure. That's awesome.
As my cat tries to break down my office door.
Well, no, that's super cool. And so that way we'll also talk maybe about the importance of where you get your original stock. Or, well, we can talk about that now. Once, because
and you've got me for about another 4 minutes, buddy.
4 minutes, jeepers.
Okay, I can keep it running, but I'm just letting you know.
We're past. Is Aquaballs going tonight? George at Aquaballs, if we could have his link. He was here. I don't know. Maybe he's setting it up now. Jeepers, I was thinking we still had 40 more minutes. Well, next time what we'll do is we'll thank everybody for coming out. Thank you, Amber, so much for hanging out with us. It's a ton of fun.
No, well, thank you guys for putting up with my rambling.
Oh, no, we enjoy it. Absolutely. I made plans because normally we're done by now. That's why I say you can keep going. We'll have to go backstage and turn it off whenever you tell me to.
No. It's totally cool. I had no idea. I was thinking we still had another. I'm still kind of stuck on my old balls.
I got you, buddy.
Oh, yes, I'll be. But okay. Well, Aquaballs, we're going to wrap it up in 3 minutes here, or 2 minutes. Thank you again, Amber, so much. James, you're an awesome host. Couldn't have a better buddy to hang out with.
Your best friend, Ed. Appreciate you very much.
And thank you, all the mods. You guys are all amazing. I see Danikin and, I almost said Fish Room Fever. And, of course, the Zen Ginger. And I probably can't roll up to see everybody. Thank you, all the mods that were here tonight. And thank you for all the super chats. You guys are crazy. You don't have to do that. But I appreciate it, and I'm not going to say no. And thank you everybody just for coming out and hanging out. This is our club, and having fun. So,
Yeah.
and I'll reread all the stuff that people said because I wasn't paying super attention. But and next time, what we'll do is Amber, when you're going to kick off your website, I mean, she's going to have a live stream, which we'll promote. But if she wants to come on again, we'll talk about how we breed, how we pick our stock, because you want to buy good boys from a girl like her, so you have good babies. And we'll talk about things like that.
Yeah, and that stream I think will be done from behind me on the floor in front of the spawn rack, so we can look at the 11 different spawns I have going and talk about different ages. Yeah, and do it
awesome.
right.
Heck yeah.
Super
and Saturday is saltwater. Saturday. Somebody was asking when our next saltwater stream is. It will be this Saturday.
Wish the fish tank barn. He's got the smallest stickers in the business.
Again, thank you guys for having me.
Oh, thank you, Amber.
Everyone in the chat for putting up with the technical difficulties, and this has just been fun. I needed this.
Oh, they enjoy it. It gives them something to talk about, right?
Oh, yeah.
As they listen to my struggles but can't see me.
Well, thank you guys. See you on Saturday. And we appreciate it.